Hey everybody, hope you're doing well today. This video is a little bit different in a way. So I wanted to really demonstrate Google Colabs. Now, I'm not sure if you've ever seen this technology before, but what it is effectively, it's basically like a Jupyter notebook, if you're familiar with that technology. Interactive Python environment with kind of interleaved markdown fields, the ability to run Python code, format it nicely, write up your thoughts around it, that kind of thing. But it's backed with Google Cloud's platform behind the scenes, and it's not always tied to your account. It can be, but separate topic. And what I wanted to really demonstrate, and why I said it's a little bit different, is you can actually run other people's Colab notebooks as well that they publish on the internet. And one of the ones that I wanted to show you here, just getting a little bit of a different thing, is you can actually generate some of these really nifty AI art images out there using VQGAN. And basically, a person set up this particular notebook, and I'll share the link in the video description, where you don't have to install the packages. You don't really have to know anything about AI, about VQGAN or CLIP or any of these methods for generating crazy, trippy looking artwork, that you can go ahead and use it as is. Now, the notebook itself, let me zoom in a little bit. The way this particular notebook works is that you give the algorithm a text prompt, basically what you want it to generate, and it's going to scan an image database of your choosing. And there are some defaults in here. I'm just going to leave them as is mainly. But you can explore kind of the world of generative art or even psychedelic art if you want to. I find this stuff fascinating, which is why you're getting this. But for the cloud applications purposes, Google Colab is something that is really interesting for sharing code, sharing results, sharing applications, and even teaching others. And you can kind of see that there's like, again, this Jupyter notebook style. Here's some text. Here's a license. Here's some Python code. Um, and I'm not necessarily going to go through and explain every single bit of this notebook. I'll leave that to you. But basically, here's where you would select your image database. Here are settings for the run that you can configure. This is basically where I'm going to change some things. And then it's actually going to run the code. When I click actually do the run, I'm probably going to do a cheeky little fade out and fade in because it's going to take a little bit. But what I thought would be fun, I have not run this yet, so hopefully it's safe for work. You can get some pretty crazy things out of this algorithm. Is I'm going to pop in Cloud Applications Development and Grand Valley State University, and let's add another thing. What's outside? Winter. So why not? All right, it's going to generate a 600 by 600 set of images. It's going to use this particular model, so VQGAN ImageNet. Um, we're going to leave the other things here, not worth getting into. Seed means we can recreate it. Iterations is basically how many frames it's going to generate, and we actually are going to get a video out of this at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and, again, if you're familiar with Jupyter Notebook, this is old hat for you. If you've never seen it, you can click Runtime, you can click Run All, or you could run each cell individually. I'm just going to hit Run All because it needs to load in all the packages, it needs to do all the configuration. Basically, what's going to happen, okay, so yep, run anyway. It's going to start running these fields in order. So here you see it's loading the license, it's checking our NVIDIA card, it's doing some Git and pip work, making a directory, then it's going to write or basically configure a code here, and then configure the parameters, then actually do the run. And you kind of see these we're not ready to run circly animations going here. Like it's still installing the environment. That's going to take a little bit. So I will, okay, so it's, yep, doing our pip installs here. If you've done Python before, this is exactly what your terminal looks like when you're installing packages. That's going to take a few minutes. We're going to ignore this error. I'll be back in a few. And we're back. So we are back on this main screen here just because I went and I tweaked a few parameters while it was running. Basically what was going on was I was getting not great output, and this is one of those things with VQGAN. You have to put the text in correctly. Um, so I changed it from Grand Valley State University and Cloud Applications to Valley, Cloud, and Winter just to make it a little more generic. And I bumped up the max iterations from 30 to 100. Basically, what that does is it just increases the amount of times this algorithm will run and generate output. And what I got out of it was you always kind of start with this image. It always looks kind of like this when you start from at least this particular model. But it generated a whole bunch of different images, and what it does is it stitches them together into a video. So, if I just go ahead and run this, you get a valley and a cloud, and we get some people kind of walking around. It's pretty crazy. Um, anyway, this was more of a demonstration of Colab than VQGAN. I'll put the link to the notebook up in the description, or I guess down in the description for the video. But hope you found it interesting, and if you find any cool collabs that you want to share, please feel free to let me know, and I will share them with the rest of the class. Anyway, have a wonderful day. See you next time.